welcome to the opposition view. You'll notice that we are one short. He of short eyesight currently is relaxing his eyes. He was with us yesterday in the slightly, I suppose, the slightly dimmer light of daytime to talk about Ipswich, but you'll have to wait until after the Middlesbrough game to see that. But it's me, so I'm Peter.
I'm at work recording this, so I hope I don't get sacked. That's brilliant.
Yes, this is Carl. This is Carl at the bottom of the screen trying to balance a phone. We hate 3-game weeks. It's just far too much nonsense to do. But never mind about that, because obviously we're looking ahead for the 3-game weeks. Let's before we get on to Boro and talking about all of that. What were your thoughts on this game? Coventry 3, Watford 1. We didn't have a chance to catch up after this. It was an odd game, and it received a number of sort of, well, semi-odd reactions, I suppose, really. Vata obviously going through on goal, not managing to finish a couple of things, but I don't think anybody's worried about that. I think we all know that this lad will finish. We look really good at up front, but at the back, not so much. Carlos, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, it was summed up wonderfully. Real Madrid going forward, and the cocking defensively. Yeah, it wasn't good defensively, was it? Look, I'd actually say this. I think if it wasn't for Coventry's goalkeeper, that may have been a very different game. I thought he had a tremendous game for them. But look, we know what the Championship's like, and also in football, when you've got a team that are playing with confidence, they don't have to, and they're in that run that they're in. They don't have to sort of turn up as much as the rest of us. And they were clinical in the end. I think one of the goals I would probably put at Selvik for not really doing his job properly. But look, overall, I wasn't surprised by the result. And I take away, going forward, we look dangerous. It's just more defensively that worries me at the moment, and I think Javi's really got to get a grasp on that, on what his best sort of starting lineup is defensively. For me, Pollock is a must because he defends. There isn't really much else to his game, but he defends, and really, I think at the moment that's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, if you concede 3 goals from 3 shots on target, there's something that needs to be improved. I think everybody accepts that. I think all the team accept that. I think everybody's on the same hymn sheet with that. But I agree with you. I thought the positives in terms of moving forward we suddenly looked like a team that you thought, well, if we can solve that at the back, we've actually got a foundation to build on. Bar being out is kind of at the end, it looks like he's picked up a little knock, and there's suggestions that he might be out for a few weeks, so we will see. But with Bar and to an extent also with Iran Kunda, we also need to find a way of kind of tapping into their potential, because we've got so much potential. But when you've got those two and you're talking about Rocco Vata's movement, it feels like we're not getting enough out of them. And now, of course, we've got Othman Mama just returned from the under-20 World Cup victory. There's more opportunities and options there. The one thing that I think most people saw on the day, and it certainly came across on the post-match phone-in, was once again being included from the start. We got very, very little out of Musa Sissoko in and around that midfield. It feels to a lot of people like I'm not going to say squad position, but his starting that a game race feels like it's run. As far as I look at it, I think he can be a substitute. He can be somebody that we could draw on. But starting, we've got to have better options, surely, even if it means we're going more attacking. And what are your thoughts on what is the club captain, not necessarily the spiritual captain, because that really belongs to Imre Loser?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a couple of things to draw on there. I think I personally, and you didn't mention him actually, we've got Georgi Chekvedadze to come back at some point during the season. Where does he go?
It's an embarrassment of riches.
And really in a position that we've been crying out for a long time. So they've delivered that. But you're absolutely right. We need to find a foundation to build on that. For me, someone like Imran Kunda, I would love to see him right behind Kirangard. because that's what Kieran needs. He looks really lost and lonely at times when you're out there watching him play, and he just doesn't look like the sort of player that's going to be able to hold a ball up and make and develop an attacking option by himself. So that's that side of it. I think where Sissoko sits for me is he's not a starter for me. I think we've got options in the squad. That's the bit. Yet we're for some reason we're still playing him. Obviously, I know there's rumours about certain people picking teams for the manager, but I hope that's not true. But I think there's options in the squad. And for me, if we were going to a place like as we're about to go very, very shortly, Ipswich, and we're winning. Yeah, and we're winning 1-0 away from home, and you've got to close the game out. Moussa Sissoko's probably ideal for that sort of thing to do, to see a game out. But for me, not a starter, not a player that's bringing anything to the team at the moment, and that's the big thing for me. And we can carry on doing that for so long, but I forget what game it was at home very recently. Actually, I think there was a lot of like boos, or a small segment was singing "Leave him on the bench" or something along those lines. So it's obviously within the fan network that we're not particularly happy seeing him week in and week out starting. But as you say, I do feel he's a squad player and somebody that brings a lot of experience. So we should keep him around for that and definitely to see games out. But I'd like to see a change in that midfield really, really, really quickly, like Saturday.
Well, let's move to Saturday, because let's face it, there's enough contentiousness about it. The first sort of subplot of this whole thing has to surely be the return of Mr. Rob Edwards, who I think many, including ourselves, feel wasn't really dealt a good hand, as many managers have not been dealt a good hand when he was at Watford. But I don't think there was an awful lot to grab hold of when he was there. Obviously, before he went to Middlesbrough, he went to some other club. I've stripped it from my memory when they did what he did in his first season, but he certainly then got Luton relegated twice.
Yeah, twice. Well done.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever we talk about Boro, and most people do as well, you'll go to Boro Breakdown, and I asked Jonny from Boro Breakdown, who's the aficionado, what does he think about that? What does he think about coming to Watford? And he'll even start off the prediction league here with what he thinks about Rob Edwards, how they're going, and then we can just have another little chat about things.
Hello guys, Jonny here from the Boro Breakdown podcast. Thank you so much for having me on, as always. And I'm here to chat to you about Rob Edwards, Watford's favourite ever manager, the man who was manager for 10 games, left to go to Luton and got them promoted. But he also did get them relegated twice, near enough. So, I mean, will he get a good reception or a bad reception? I think you're about to tell me what type of reception he's going to get. But right now, he's Middlesbrough boss and he's doing a fantastic job so far. Middlesbrough currently sat second in the championship table. And we've done really, really well. One defeat all season in the league. And we are a different outfit to what you might have seen us under Michael Carrick. Middlesbrough, a much more direct team now. They will always play through Hayden Hackney and be still over-reliant on Hayden Hackney to create chances for Boro. But Middlesbrough don't play out from the back as much anymore now. We are very much a side who is willing to go long now, and also a team that will look to try and get that ball to the forwards as quickly as we can to create something. And now in that style, you will tend to see metrics like XG, for example, tend to go down because Boros don't create as many chances as they did last year under Michael Carrick, where it was very much around possession-based football, all about those overloads in certain areas and to create plenty of chances. So it is a bit different, but Boro are being efficient in front of goal when they do have the chance, but also the much better set pieces now. And you can tell as well that Rob Edwards is Boro boss because Middlesbrough fans are absolutely loving his press conferences and how he's bringing everyone along the journey too. But that takes me to the scoreline. What's it going to be? Are Boro going to beat Watford? Are you going to beat us? I think you guys are massively underperforming in 14th. I think you should be a lot higher, to be honest. I think that I think you do have a good couple of players in that squad who I think can make the difference. But I'm going to go with Middlesbrough 1, Watford 1 as my prediction for the weekend. And maybe a Watford might edge it. Who knows? And wouldn't that be nice to rub it in the face of Rob Edwards for someone who caused you a lot of pain for a few months? But guys, thank you so much for having me on as always. Take care and I'll speak to you soon. Up the Boro.
Look, lots of stuff there from lovely stuff there from Jonny. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we managed to get one over on Mr. Edwards? People will look at obviously him coming back. We'll look at the fact that obviously I think we didn't do him great justice, but of course, what did he do up the road? Very, very well. Then not so much. What are your thoughts on Mr. Edwards' return with second place Boro? We've been up against the top team. Now we got the second team. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, firstly, Rob Edwards. Look, he didn't get a fair crack of the whip. We've covered that off numerous times, but unfortunately, when you go to that dark, shadowy place and work for a living, you're not well received when coming back. And look, I think there'll be a lot of banter, shall we say, that he got relegated twice, which he did, and not so much mentioned about the promotion side of it, which, yeah, it was a nightmare at the time, wasn't it? It's not something that you ever see happening, because as a manager, when he was at the club, and I know he didn't, there was never a game that I actually thought he's got something here. So I was mortified to see him get into the Premier League with them. But anyway, enough said on that. With regards to Middlesbrough, I think they've had a really, really good start. They have. Yeah. I say this time of the year, this time of the season is when you start to see teams that are going to push and be involved in that automatic chase. I'm going to go out on a limb. I've got a sneaky suspicion that Middlesbrough might pop at some point, and it's games like ours that are going to be a real sort of stand up to that. So I'd be interested to see how he gets on, and I tend to agree. I've got a sneaky suspicion we might nick it. That second half against West Brom, I was over the moon to see that. The first half, not so much. But yeah, the second half, I was really impressed with us going forward, and against Coventry as well. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. If we can nick something against Middlesbrough, then you never know what happens in the Championship. And weirdly, put 3 or 4 wins together, and we're in the mix. That's how bonkers it goes in this division. So yeah, I think it could be an interesting game, Pete. Is that sitting on the fence enough, or I'm not sure?
No. It's absolutely perfect, because they have sat literally in the top 2. They've been second, up into first, down into second, as Coventry's run has just kept going and kept going and kept going. But they have, lost occasional games, to Portsmouth. They have, drawn 4 of the last 8 games, I think it is. So they are not away from getting kind of results against them. I agree. There's a couple of players that I think I like. I mean, people will say Morgan Whittaker, but for me, he's blown hot and cold since a really good season at Plymouth. I thought he didn't really adapt for the next seasons. He went up to Middlesbrough last year, and he got a goal. He's got a goal. He's got a performance in him. But the man, and he called him out there, is this young lad Hayden Hackney, who I think looks like being the next sort of Morgan Rogers, the one who will get the next move on, because he looks a class player. And it'd be quite interesting to see in that midfield whether or not we might almost park somebody on him, because if not, they do tend to go long. Tommy Conway does an awful lot of running up front, kind of getting and securing the ball, kind of almost your traditional channel runner, going back to the 90s. Everybody, Louis Teixeira, look it up. So we'll see where we go. But yeah, I think it is time, as Jonny's already taken there, and this is going to be a quick review, or a quick opposition view, to look at the DNSYE Completely Rubbish.
It's the DNSYE Completely Rubbish Prediction League.
No! God, please, no! No!
So Carlos, I'll tell you what the scores are. The Patreons, if you can hear this, Greg Thieker, yes, Wendover Horn, he's got his optimistic head on, and he's gone 6-0 to Watford. I know everybody is going to be weighing in on that on the betting. AFC letterbox or postbox has gone Watford 3, Middlesbrough 3, with a couple of packages in each, but they both count. We have made sure of this. There was a lot of problems around the Coventry result with poo because of what Brett got on with. And then let's get to Brett. Brett has decided that he needs to go for somebody with a lot of wisdom, and he's gone for Yoda.
We need Yoda to help us. Score prediction: Watford versus Middlesbrough. Watford at home. Six minus 5 is 1. Fuck it. I'm not rolling the Middlesbrough dice. No Middlesbrough dice. It's 1-0 to Watford.
Well, there you go. He's given up rolling all of the dice. He's just said we're going to win 1-0. So he got bored of it. Carlos, we come to you in increasing darkness. What do you think the score is going to be on Saturday when Watford take on Middlesbrough?
I'm going to go for a sneaky Watford 1, Middlesbrough 0.
A 1-0 Watford win. This is good. This is very good. So you're basically copying Brett, the erstwhile vlog cameraman, as well. So we've got 1-1, says Jonny from Boro Breakdown. We've got a 1-0 win. We've got 2 1-0 wins, I should say. We've got a 6-0 win, and we've got a 3-3 draw. If Middlesbrough win at Vicarage Road, nothing will happen to the Prediction League whatsoever, which is probably about the most exciting thing that's ever happened to it, to be quite frank. So there we go. There we go. Right. Well, anyway, whilst we can hardly see Carl anymore, well, we can't see him at all. What we will do is say, look, guys, we will leave you with that and a few other bits. We will see you all after the Middlesbrough game on the post-match phone-in. Do look out on the socials for everything. Our best, obviously, to Justin and his eye recovery. And in the meantime, we will see you soon. You ons.